So in this video, I'm going to go over the Unit 7 quizzes, the 7172 and the 7374. I'm only going over one version of them. So what I'm going to do is I will go over the version. Now every version has different numbers, but the process is the same. So once I go over each problem, I will tell you what the answers to each version would have been, okay? So on this first one, so our process here is what we're going to talk about. So I'm going to rewrite the problem here, 2 times x plus 3 to the 1/2 power equals 14. Now some of y'all will do better with this problem if you make it a square root, but even before I do that, I'm going to divide both sides by 2 here, okay? So that's going to make this x plus 3, and this is a square root now, is equal to 7. Now I like doing that because it enables me to just get the square root on one side and the number on the other. That then enables me to go ahead and square both sides, because that's what I have to do to get rid of that square root. So now that cancels out that, so I'm left with x plus 3 equals 49, and then I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, so that means x is going to be equal to 46. Okay, so now if you were in first or second period, first or second, the answer to that question was x equals 2. If you were in third, the answer to that question was x equals 6. If you were in fourth, that was this one, x equals 46. If you were in fifth or sixth, then the answer was x equals 32. And if you were in seventh, then it was x equals 18, okay? So number 2, this one, because it's a cube root on both sides, we can go ahead and take this problem and cube both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and just do this up here. I'm going to cube this one, and I'm going to cube this one. Okay, so when I do that, again, remember these cancel each other out, okay? So we're left with 5x minus 15 equals 7x plus 19. So I'm going to subtract the 5x from both sides. So now that's gone from there. And I'm going to subtract the 19 from both sides. So now that's gone from there. So that's going to leave us minus, what is that? 34 is equal to 2x, right? So what I'm going to do then is divide both sides by 2. So x is equal to minus 14. I'm sorry, minus 17. So that was the answer to, so again, let me go back. So first period, the answer was x equals 14, and second, so I should say first and second, x equals 14. And then third, yours was x equals 11. Fourth, yours was this one, x equals negative 17. Fifth and sixth, x was equal to 12. And then seventh, yours was x is equal to 7. Okay? All right, so now this one, we're going to square both sides. Okay? So we're going to square this side, and we're going to square this side. So when we square this side again, these two are going to cancel each other out, so we're left with x plus 6. When we square this, remember, this is the same thing as x plus 4 times x plus 4. Okay, that's what a squared is. So x times x is x squared. Then we have plus 4x plus 4x. And then we multiply the 4 times 4, we get 16. We're going to keep simplifying. So this will be x squared plus 8x plus 16. So now we're going to subtract this x, and we're going to subtract this 6. So that's going to leave us 0 over here, and x squared plus 7x plus, that's going to be 10, right, y'all? Okay, so now we're asking ourselves, what are the factors of 10 that add up to be 7, right? So this is going to be x plus 5 and x plus 2. Remember, we're going to set each of these equal to 0. So this is going to be x equals negative 5, and this is going to be x equals negative 2. Now remember, we have to put these back in to check them, okay? So that's what we're going to do next. So I'm going to do that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do that down here. So I'm going to do the square root of negative 5 plus 6. And is that equal to negative 5 plus 4? So this is going to be the square root of 1 is equal to negative 1. 1 does not equal negative 1. So this is what we would call an extraneous solution. Okay, so that's not going to be our solution. Okay, and so let's check this other one over here. So this one's going to be negative 2 plus 6. Is that equal to negative 2 plus 4? So this is going to be 4, square root of 4. And this is going to be 2, and the square root of 4 is 2, so 2 does equal 2. So this is our actual solution, okay? So when you guys were showing me work or showing us work, you should have shown us all that work, all right? So now again, if you had first or second, this one should have been, you had x equals 5 and x equals 10. That was the actual answer because this one was extraneous, okay? So third period, you should have had x equals 7 and x equals 3. This was your answer. This one was extraneous. Fourth period was the one we just did. So x equals negative 5 and x equals negative 2. That was your answer. This one was extraneous. Fifth and sixth. Let's see here. I'm trying to yep, find it. So this one was x equals negative 2 and x equals 7. This was your actual solution. This one was extraneous. And then seventh period, we had x equals negative 3 and x equals negative 5. And this one was your answer, and this one was extraneous, okay? All right, so now number 4. On this one, again, some of y'all might do better if you make this a cube root because you can see it better. So it's your call, but if we do that, then we're going to say 5x plus 1, and this is the cube root, is equal to 3. Hopefully you guys can see that we have to cube both of these sides. So when we do that, we get 5x plus 1 equals 27. Then we're going to subtract 1 from both sides. So that's going to be 5x equals 26. And then we're going to divide both sides by 5. Okay? So we're going to divide both sides by 5. So x is equal to 5.2. Or you could have left it 26 over 5, and some of y'all did that, and I gave it to you. Again, so if you had first and second period, the answer to this one was x equals 59. Third period, x was equal to 24. Fourth period, x was equal to 5.2. Fifth period and sixth period, x was equal to 8. And seventh period, x was equal to 42. Okay? All right, so the last one on this quiz says the velocity of a free-falling object is given by v equals the square root of 2gh. V is the velocity, g is acceleration due to gravity, h is the distance the object has fallen. The value of g depends on which body planet the object is attracting the object. If the object hits the surface of the velocity with 20, so velocity of 20, so that means v is equal to 20. And then from what height to the nearest hundredth was it dropped if you were on Mars in the gravity? So this is just G is equal to 3.72. Okay, so we're just going to plug those values in. So 20 is equal over here. This is the square root of 2 times 3.72 and then times our h, right? So what we have to do is we have to square both sides to get rid of that square root. So that's going to be our first step, is we're going to square both sides. We do that, we're going to get 400, and that's going to be equal to 2 times 3.72. Now you could have done that first, h. So then we're going to multiply that 2 times 3.72. Trying to find my thing here. So that's going to give me 7.44h is equal to 400. So then we would divide both sides by 7.44. So h is going to be equal to 53.76 meters, okay? So I'm going to again tell y'all the answers to the rest. So first period and second. H was equal to 45.87. Third was 31.85. Fourth was the one we just did, 53.76. 5 and 6. 5 and 6, fifth and sixth was 20.39. And seventh was 199.04. Okay? So for 7.3 and 7.4, I'm not going to be able to do what we just did just for the sake of time, but I'm going to walk you through as far as telling you what the answers are to every version, but I am going to walk you through how to solve this, and the process is the same for every one of them, okay? So the very first thing we need to do here is we need to factor out that -3. So when we do that, we're going to get x minus 6 plus 4, okay? So then we're going to talk about what each of these things means. So first of all, this negative right here means we have a reflection, and all of them had a negative underneath that radical. So that's a reflection over the y-axis. Then we need to talk about this 3 right here. That 3 means that we have a horizontal, and this is going to be a compression because it's a whole number. But when we write it, we're going to say it's a horizontal compression of 1/3. Okay? Then we need to talk about this value right here. So that means it's going right 6. And then the last one is this 4 right here. So it means it's going up 4. Okay? So remember that when we're talking about this, all of these problems had a reflection over the y-axis. They had a horizontal compression of whatever that value was over with 1 over it. Okay. Now when we graph this, it's going to graph at 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up 4. So this is the point of our graph. That's where it starts, right here. And then it's going to go up. And you guys could have plotted some points, and I got like 2, 7.5, somewhere like that was one of my points. And then I think I got one way out here, up here like this. So when I graphed it, it looked something like this, okay? And I wasn't looking for perfection with the graphs, okay? So now remember, domain has to do with this value right here. So when we're talking about domain, it's going to be x's, and look, x is getting smaller, so it's going to be less than or equal to our x value, which is 6, okay? And our range is also going up. Notice that our y values are going up, so y is going to be greater than or equal to, again, what is the value of the k, and that's 4. And when we talk about end behavior, that means what's happening when I'm going towards infinity here and towards negative infinity there. So as I move towards this way on the graph, where do I end? Hopefully you can see that the f of x, or y value for that, is 4. Y'all see that? Now when I go this direction on the graph, which means I'm headed towards negative infinity, where's the graph headed? it's headed towards infinity up there. Y'all see that? So when this asks us for the zeros, it's asking us, where does this graph cross the x-axis right there? Well, this graph doesn't cross the x-axis at all. So the zeros here are none. Now we're going to talk about intervals of increase and decrease, okay? So when we're talking about intervals of increase and decrease, so we're talking about, so first of all, what's happening with this graph? So as I move from over here this way, is the graph going up or down, y'all? Hopefully you can see it's going down, so there's no intervals of increase, right? But as we're moving from left to right, what's happening? It's going from infinity to this point right here, which is 6, okay? So when we talk about, or sorry, negative infinity to the point 6. Okay, so when we talk about that, we're talking about it moved from, because remember there was an arrow over here. Let me erase this because it's kind of muddy now, and I'll redraw it. So it was at 6, 4, right? This is where our graph started, and it went up this way. Y'all remember? Sorry, it never goes down, so I didn't make that very well. It's going up, okay? So when we do this, our interval of decrease is going from infinity over here, because we got an arrow there, to a stopping point right there, which was 6. Okay? So when we're talking about our interval, that's what we're talking about, the x-axis. Okay? So now we're going to do our last one. So this one's a cube root. So once again, we need to talk about what everything is. So what is this? Now that one's on the outside, so this is a reflection over the x-axis. Then we want to talk about this. This is also, that's A, so this is a vertical shrink, let me see if I can fix that. A vertical compression by 1/2. Okay, then we're going to talk about this number right here, and this is going to be right 4, and then this one is going to be up 1. Then if we draw this graph, I'm trying to remember which one this is. Let me see if I can see this. Okay, so so what happens is our normal point of where the graph turns is going to be at 0, 0. So this is going to move over 4 and up 1. So this is going to be our new transition, okay? So on this one, it's going to be going up like this, and I'm pretty sure it went through around here, and then it did a little curve, whoop, whoop, like that, and then it kind of went along here, okay? And again, with these graphs, I was only looking for a representation. All right, so when we talk about our domain, remember with domain, it's going to always be all real numbers, and range all real numbers when we're talking about cube roots, because this is a cube root. So because of this right here, guys, that's always going to be all real numbers. Now, again, as x approaches infinity on this side, where is f of x? Isn't it going towards negative infinity here? And as x goes towards negative infinity here, we're heading towards positive infinity up there, okay? So this one, the way we got to find the 0 is to set this equation equal to 0, okay? So I'm going to do this up here. So 0, whoa, that was ugly. I don't think it works very good right there, y'all. 0 is equal to negative 1/2, and then the cube root of x minus 4 plus 1. So I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. That's going to give me minus 1 over here is equal to minus 1/2, the cube root of x minus 4. So then I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 2 to get rid of that. So that's going to be my negative 2. So that's going to give me 2 over here is equal to the cube root of x minus 4. So then I'm going to cube both sides. So that's going to give me 8 over here, x minus 4. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. So x is equal to 12. So that's my 0, x equals 12. Now, we're looking at this graph. Notice it's going from, again, negative infinity to infinity, but is it going up or down? Hopefully all of y'all can see that it's going down, right? So there are no intervals of increase, but there are intervals of decrease, and they are from where? Negative infinity over here to positive infinity. So hopefully going over these quizzes helped you guys. Now I will tell you some of the zeros were big. Okay, so let me just tell you guys what those were. So if you were in first period, then your x was equal to 12 for the 0, or second period. If you were in third period, your x was equal to 4,098. That was your 0. If you were in fourth period, your 0 was x is equal to 1,003. If you were in fifth or sixth period, your 0 was x is equal to negative 21. And if you were in seventh period, your x was equal to negative 4,093. So hopefully that helps you guys.